Right, hey guys, and welcome to Cute Things Dying Violently. Let me get full disclosure out of the way here. I'm taking a look at this game with a review code I received from a third-party PR firm. I don't know anybody at ApathyWorks, so that's where my biases lie. Now that's out of the way. What is Cute Things Dying Violently? Well, it is a puzzle platformer, same vein as, say, Meat Boy or, you know, basically any indie game ever released, but with a very different control scheme and certainly a very different aesthetic. I'm going to take a look, just show off the options real quick. Change your aspect ratio and your resolutions and things. Change volumes, your sensitivity. I turned it up a little bit. I'm going to turn up a little more. I don't really want the aim controls inverted, and I'm fine with that all language. There's critter art, you can change, probably unlock more. You can share custom critter art. I haven't messed around with that. There's a level editor in the Steam Workshop. There's also nice little like quips that appear here at the bottom when you mouse over things. Achievements, there's a level of the week. I haven't checked out that yet either for this week, but right now we're just going to play the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, or actually that's probably Steam Workshops. So it looks like there's 6 worlds. I'm just going to go through the first world here, and we'll play through until like the first boss, just to show off what the game is about. So, super easy. You hold left click and you can move the guy around. And if you hold right click, you can shoot him somewhere with a little preview. By shooting him once, we open the door for the level, and then you just have to shoot him into the door. And so it looks super simple. So we go to the first level here, and now we see there are spikes. There's a little help bit here. The first one just says, hey, there's help bubbles. So you have 4 critters here to work with. And the interesting thing is that normally you would have to make a certain amount of them do the level. Like, you'd have to have a certain amount of survivors, I guess you'd call it. In Cute Things Die Violently, you only need 1 to survive. I'm pretty sure I can kill the other 3 here, and I'll still get a pass on the level. That's not going to be good enough. That should be... No, that's going to kill him. Okay. But we still beat it. Maybe there's a perfect rating, but as far as I can tell, you don't get anything for a perfect rating. So there really isn't a reason to bother saving more than the first couple here. We want to do a small little bounce to get onto the button. There we go. And then everybody else we can shoot over and over. Boom, that's 1, and then these ones you just shoot up. Now that I've turned off the inverted mouse, I'm not sure that I wanted to turn off the inverted mouse. And so most of the levels is pretty simple. Like, you've basically seen most everything the game has to offer here. One trick is if you drag somebody and put them there, they will stand pretty stationary for a little bit. And so you can try and sneak somebody up here. But it's not easy. I know the first time I did this one, I think I did it wrong, because I managed to sneak somebody up around the thing. I managed to get somebody up here, and then we just kind of bounced up here and hit the button. And so I didn't have to do any of the spikes. Let's try, for the sake of, like, proving to myself that I can beat the game properly. Well, I can... Nope. Nope. Well, now I'm gonna need to restart. How do I restart? Restart, okay. So what do I think of Cute Things Die Violently? Well, it's... I don't know if I... Oh, there we go. I don't know if I'd really call it cute. You're just gonna make it on your own? Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic of the critters, but apparently you can change that on your own. I mean, I'm kind of sick of puzzle platformers, and this is where they tell you that, yeah, you don't need everybody to survive, and sometimes nobody has a chance of survival. Because you need to kill somebody to hit the button. It's pretty simple so far. I've really only played through the first level, so I imagine it gets a lot more complicated, and maybe that makes it a lot better. Aesthetically, it's not entirely my jam. I mean, it's going for the, like, exceptionally gruesome aesthetic, which I'm not necessarily a huge fan of, but I'm not entirely turned off by it. I kind of wish there was something more going on, but the flinging mechanic has, like, some potential. I would think that normally you would turn off the aim trajectory after the first level or so, once you're, like, out of the tutorial and you've kind of gotten the idea of it. I guess you can turn it off here, if that's, like, what you're after. And then, you know, the game feels a lot more like, it feels like it has a lot more sense of difficulty if you turn off the aim trajectory. But I'm going to leave it on just because I'm not going to be able to beat levels otherwise. And then here we have our first boss. It is a bucket-headed robot, and all you have to do is throw its bombs back at it. They take about 5 seconds to explode. I'm going to move this out of the way. And you gotta keep this guy alive while you do it. Which basically just means you have to cook the bomb in the air, and you just have to kind of drag him around because he's going to drop more and more bombs every time. So you kind of want to keep him near the robot and then move him away. I probably should have lost my critter there. Somehow I managed to dodge the explosion. And there we go. Super easy. First time it actually took me like 3 or 4 tries to beat that boss. But that's the gist of Critters Die Violently. Or Cute Things Die Violently. I guess they call them critters, so it's not a mistake. So I haven't really looked at the second level here, but we do get some new mechanics. It's a bit foggy. You can only manipulate objects where there's light. That's kind of interesting. Objects can hit springs and bounce. It's the opposite of my mom, who makes me bouncing too much. Interesting. Alright, so I can only manipulate things when they're in the light. And if they hit a spring. Okay, so it passed the level. So it looks like we're just going to keep doing that. Boom, over the spikes. He's dead. He's dead. He hits the spring. Okay, so we're good. Not that bad. They do definitely introduce some new things here. The utility crate that you can move, flick, and have interact with visual objects. 2D platformers have crates. Springs can be moved and flicked just like critters. Okay, so do we move the spring here? We move the crate onto the spring. Oh, you know what I probably want to do? I probably want to put the spring up there first. And then bounce the crate up there too. I'm kind of sad and disappointed that I didn't crush the... Okay, and then it looks like it's just a matter of flicking these guys in there while the button is pressed. Oops. Blood sprays everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I think it's alright. It's not gonna be, you know, the greatest thing ever. I think it's $3 and change on Steam and Canadian. So, I mean, you get what you pay for. It's not a super expensive game. There's probably way more than $3 of game here. Okay, fun. Alright, so Now we have the spring, which I think we want to shoot onto the spikes. And then we probably should mount somebody over there. Easy. But yeah, I've never really seen any level that was like mentally hard, like I couldn't figure out the puzzle part of the platforming. A lot of the times it was just, you know, my aim was off, or the boss was a little tough because there's like 4 bombs in the 3rd set. But it's got a custom level creator, which is pretty sweet. Ah, okay. I have to save him with the spring. That's kind of cool. Boing, 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 click, boing, 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 and save. Oh shit! Oh, okay, let's try that again. Yeah, it's only $3, so it's not super expensive if you're just looking for like a cute little visceral puzzle platformer to kill some time and some critters. I mean, cute things done violently. Cute things dying violently. Something about that name is giving me trouble. Cute things dying violently will get you there. I mean, it's got tons of levels. I'm trying to think if I go back to the world map here for a second. Looks like there's 8 levels, a stage, and 6 stages. So that's 48 levels, and then there's also custom levels, which I don't have any custom levels. There's a level of the week, we can try that. So I don't know how these work. Okay, so my best guess is that playing the level of the week without knowing half the mechanics of the levels is probably a bad idea. It looks like you can cook critters in the fire, but they get upset about it. Oops, I just flipped the guy off to his death. Okay. And there we're spraying ink, and now he's on fire. It's very confusing. So my advice is to not play level of the week without figuring out all the mechanics from levels. So maybe play through the 48 levels in the game first, and then come back to the level of the week every once in a while, which is kind of a nice thing to give you a little more added replay value for your game. 48 levels, 1 level every week. There is Steam Workshop levels, so you can probably check the... Yeah, that just opens the Steam window. You can probably find other people's created levels. There's probably tons there for you. I dig it. It's not terrible. I mean, I've seen worse puzzle platformers for more expensive on Steam, so it's definitely worth checking out if you're looking for, you know, a nice little puzzle game to make you think about what you're doing a little bit more than, say, Metal Gear Solid 5. Oops. Anyway, that's my look at cute things dying violently. There you go. So take a look for yourself. I'll have the Steam store link in the description below. Yeah, there you go. Enjoy it. Have fun.